Okay, so let's talk about the hi-hat and getting a little bit of a better sound, specifically when we stomp the hi-hat. For years, I ignored this little thing that's underneath the hi-hat. And some of you may ignore it, some of you may know about it, some of you may not even know why it's there, but you're twisting it anyway just because it's a knob on your drum set. But before we go any further, be sure and subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications because tons of new videos coming out every week, and I don't want you to miss any. But as well, before you get out of here, leave me a comment if you got any questions or comments about this or things you found while you're playing. I'm not like the world's expert on everything. I'm just a drummer, I'm a teacher, and I'm the same as you. I'm learning as I go, so I always love to read the comments. We're looking at when we have a hi-hat, I mean, you've got two cymbals coming together. And what you want to avoid with a hi-hat is, and that's why the screw is underneath, what you want to avoid is you want to avoid really those cymbals coming together where if they come together, this is going to be hard because I should have set this up better. If they come together and they're not at any type of a slant, so whenever they hit flat like this, what you're going to find is that gives you a muted sound. And the reason that happens is whenever you have two cymbals coming together, what happens is there's air being pushed by those cymbals, and the air gets trapped inside of those cymbals. And when that happens, you get this real muted sound. And let me see if I can recreate that for you by just holding the cymbal straight and seeing if I can get a more muted sound. There it is. So it's almost, I can feel it with my foot whenever I do that. The same way when they teach you in orchestra or marching band, whenever you go to crash the cymbals, you don't crash them straight on like this, because if you do, that air is going to get tucked in there and you get these weird sounds. Sometimes you get a muted sound, sometimes you just get weird overtones. So you kind of want to hit them at a little bit of a slant. And it's the same way with the hi-hat. We want those hi-hats hitting at a little bit of a slant, whether we're hitting them with a stick, okay, because if the air's trapped in there, we're getting all these weird tones when we're hitting with a stick. So even just a little bit where they're off center, just a little bit, that's going to give you a better sound. So on the bottom here, we've got a little knob that adjusts, and that knob you can go all the way down. And when you start bringing that up, what's going to happen is this bottom cymbal, and you can see, let me get so whenever I start untightening this, tightening it, you'll see that bottom cymbal, it's going to change a little bit. And now they actually have this made to where it gives it a little tilt anyway, which is great. But when we start twisting this, you can watch that bottom cymbal, and whenever I get all the way to the top, you're going to see that bottom cymbal start to kick up a little bit. See there? And that's what this is for. It's for getting a good sound. So on my top cymbal, you see I don't have it completely tight, because I don't like my stick to be, I don't like my cymbal to be constricted, and some people keep it tighter. But the reason that this is there is so that this can have a little give, and the bottom is to give it a little tilt, so that whenever we hit it together, we have these cymbals that move like a living cymbal should, instead of two cymbals coming together and the air getting trapped on the inside. So mess with that knob. And what you just want to do is get just a little tilt happening. See what's better for you. What you don't want to happen is to have two cymbals coming together directly on top of each other where all of the air is getting trapped in there, because that's going to give you weird sounds, muted sounds, especially when you go to play your foot. Some of you may have played before and all of a sudden it felt weird. It felt just like a cushion when you came together. That's that air coming together. And so especially when you go to flange the hi-hat with your foot, you're going to get really weird tones and have a hard time flanging if this is too tight, or if this underneath is not at an angle. So those are my tips for getting a good sound with your hi-hat with your foot. Be sure and leave a comment before you get out of here, and I will see you in the next video.